Well, hello, and welcome to our front yard garden tour in the South Carolina upstate. This is number 2 for the season, February 17th, 2024. Our second season. If you saw our shows last season on a different site on YouTube, it's more of the same. We got an earlier start this year. Partly because we have more flowers in. We put in pansies, and our daffodils have gotten a pretty good start. They've come along quite a ways from just last week. So we're going to give you a little tour here. As always, we start off in our mailbox bed. I should say it's a very pleasant day. It's about 48 degrees right now. Hazy sun, very pleasant though, and especially for mid-February. We haven't had any snow at all this year. We had some cold back in January. That seems to have all passed. So, again, looking at our mailbox bed, lots of pansies that we put in November, doing pretty well. We've had a little bit of trouble with the bunnies in the neighborhood eating some of the plants. A few of them have been just chewed right down to the ground, and just nothing really left of those, but most of them are flowering pretty well. Also got, of course, some daffodils that have come out since last week, and over here we have some tulips that will be coming out probably next month. They're just getting started now, and even some irises over there. Those are just breaking ground, so they'll come along before too long too. And then I should just show off over at the actual mailbox. We have clematis that did really well last year. They were quite prolific for most of the season. Now they look kind of dead right now, but if you look really closely back in there, we've got some buds that are starting to develop. So leaf buds and probably some flower buds. These usually start to, in fact, you can see some leaves already growing in there. So even more on this side. Usually late March you start to see some flowers on these. So we'll be keeping a close eye on those. It'll be also interesting to watch our vinca, which did so well last year. They're all just here dead right now. But if they've reseeded like they did the year before, we may have quite a few vinca in there. So we're gonna keep our breath held for that, see what happens. Over here we've got all kinds of purple pansies doing very well for the most part. Again, some of these have been chewed down by the rabbits, but for the most part they're doing pretty well. And then the big player in this bed is our dwarf knockout rose, and it has, if you look closely here, it has a lot of leaf buds on it. It's hard to get them to focus in there. There we go, just like that. Lots and lots of those. So probably within another couple of weeks we'll start to see some new leaves on that, and we'll see how that does. It's supposed to be a pretty small plant, but last year it did very well overall, and gave us flowers throughout the season. On this side, again, of course, more pansies. We have the one orange pansy that we bought, and some of these little tiny ones that are more like what they call Johnny jump ups. Most of the purple ones up here are like that, along with a lot of daffodils that are in full bloom now. And then as we come back over, we put a lot of tulip bulbs in this particular bed. Most of them are coming up, and so hopefully we'll have a lot of color there before too long, if the deer and rabbits don't get to them. So we're gonna, after this video, we're gonna spray to kind of keep our little rodent friends away. Over here, this is our most prolific climbing rose, at least in the front yard. Had brilliant, bright red flowers on it throughout the whole season. And as you look closely, it's got a lot of leaf buds on it, and looks like this thing is going to be in bloom pretty quickly, maybe within 3 to 4 weeks, maybe less. I shouldn't say in bloom, but the leaves will be out, and then the blooms will probably be about mid to late March, I'm going to say. So we're about a month away from that. And then other things are still a little bit dormant, so we're going to kind of wait on those. A lot of irises back in here. We had a lot of black-eyed Susans and some lesser plants. Over here we have other climbers, some yellow, some red. There's definitely some development, some new buds. I think they're a little bit behind that other one, but they'll come along. And various other flowers as we continue through the spring. Over here, our hydrangeas will start to develop probably in April, and then they'll start to bloom probably about May or so. They usually give us a couple months worth of color. Down here we have some crocuses. Haven't started to bloom yet, but we do have a little bud there. So maybe this week we'll actually get some flowers on that. I think over here we had some crocuses just breaking ground, and some more over here. We had one flower on this last week, but it's gone now. So again, we're seeing the progression of spring very slowly but surely. Got some more tulips over here coming up, daffodils fully in bloom, hydrangeas here, viburnum. Now just since last week, I'm seeing, come on, let's get this to focus. It doesn't want to focus. Let's try this one. No, it doesn't want to do it. But anyway, we're getting some nice buds on our viburnum, so we should get some nice flowers from that. Big white snowball looking flowers, usually about April or so for those. Hyacinths coming up here. We have a number of different colors of those. Some tulips coming, just breaking the ground here. Big group of daffodils. This is usually one of the first ones in our yard to come out. And then over here we have more viburnum. Maybe some of these buds will show up on the video. Can't really get them to focus. There we go, finally. So we should get some nice flowers out of these before too much longer. And then we have rhododendrons and azaleas. Certainly a lot of different irises, hosta, roses, knockout roses, and then this butterfly bush. And these are all going to come a little bit later on. The butterfly bush is already getting some nice or not flowers, but leaves on it. So flowers will come probably about 2 months from now, say April, maybe even May. So definitely a midsummer type of flower. And then our knockout roses, just getting started for the spring. And then over here, got a lot of little ground flowers, not really doing anything yet. And again, we had some pansies here that got eaten, so we're going to spray those and see if they'll come back. We have more daffodils, pansies, and knockout roses over here. And again, we're just starting to see some buds for the leaves, so these should start to leaf out probably within the next month or so. But we still need to do a pretty thorough spring cleanup. We've got a lot of just residue from last year. It just hasn't been quite warm enough or consistently warm enough to get out here on a regular basis, but we'll probably do that within the next few weeks. Get all this old stuff out of here. So, that's the state of our garden right now. We actually have a dandelion. That's the first one I've seen in our yard. The first of many. We'll try to knock those out as well. And so, should be a good year coming up. Lots of colors so far, and it's still midwinter, so we'll see how things progress over the next few weeks. Stay with us, and until next time, happy gardening.